You type the message. You delete it. You type it again. You carefully erase the period. You add an emoji. You violently delete the entire sentence. You close the app. Your chest feels tight. Your fingers freeze over the glowing keyboard. You stare blankly at the screen. Your heart is racing over a harmless digital text. You genuinely think this extreme caution makes you look highly professional. You probably call it meticulous perfectionism. The harsh clinical reality is total neurological paralysis. You are completely trapped. Your own biological brain is currently holding you hostage. You just wasted 20 agonizing minutes intensely analyzing a basic greeting. You vividly imagine catastrophic social outcomes that do not even exist. You picture them brutally judging your tone. This is not protecting your public image. This is actively destroying your core confidence. This is a severe cognitive system failure. Your highly evolved prefrontal cortex is completely hijacking your perceived reality. This specific brain region is biologically designed for complex survival logic. But you are feeding it way too much idle time, so it aggressively invents invisible social threats. It fabricates wild scenarios to keep you perfectly safe from a danger that is not real. You are quite literally gaslighting yourself into absolute silence. Every single second you wait rapidly drains your finite social battery. Overanalyzing does not prevent conversational mistakes. It actively guarantees your social failure. You completely lose the natural flow. You entirely miss the brief window of genuine human connection. Your chronic hesitation is a heavy physical weight. But you can forcefully break this cycle today. You can actively bypass this broken neural pathway. You must deliberately hack your own internal neurochemistry. I am going to show you the exact 2-second loophole to escape this exhausting mental prison forever. You send a simple email to a colleague. 3 agonizing hours pass. Absolute silence. Did you sound too aggressive? Was the punctuation slightly wrong? Are they drafting an angry response right now? Are they secretly mocking your phrasing to someone else in the office? Did you ruin your professional reputation over a single misplaced comma? Are they actively plotting to expose your incompetence? No, they are literally just eating lunch. You are not a psychic. You are projecting your own profound internal insecurities onto a completely blank screen. You are constantly directing a tragic psychological movie inside your head. You always cast yourself as the helpless victim of severe social rejection. This is not heightened intuition. This is the spotlight effect running on a completely corrupted operating system. Your prefrontal cortex is entirely overwhelmed by ambiguous social cues. This highly analytical machine absolutely hates uncertainty. When it lacks clear emotional data from other human beings, it completely panics. So it rapidly fills that terrifying void with the absolute worst-case scenario. It aggressively hijacks your primal defense mechanism to predict a social danger that is entirely fabricated by your own mind. You genuinely think you are highly empathetic because you constantly read the room. Wrong. You are just processing heavily corrupted data. You think their sudden silence means absolute rejection. You think a short text message means they deeply despise you. They looked away during the brief morning meeting. Do they hate your new idea? Do they think you are totally incompetent? Incorrect. They are simply exhausted from their own complicated lives. You must stop directing that imaginary horror movie. Your biological brain is aggressively scanning for social threats to protect your tribal status. But the physical threat simply does not exist in reality. You are not a magical mind reader. You are just a normal human being experiencing a severe cognitive error. Stop trying to interpret every single micro-expression. You are needlessly torturing yourself over invisible phantoms. You sit there. The screen glares. The cursor blinks. Your breathing stops. You feel completely suffocated inside your own silent room. Your palms are literally sweating over a piece of glowing glass. Your throat tightly constricts while you stare at a simple chat bubble. Your heart hammers against your ribs like you are facing a physical predator. You are completely paralyzed. This is not social anxiety. This is a catastrophic somatic overload. Your sympathetic nervous system is aggressively crashing your physical body. You are experiencing an extreme physiological shutdown because your brain is currently burning an impossible amount of neural bandwidth. It is desperately trying to process a tiny digital interaction using the exact same primitive hardware designed to survive the wild. Your amygdala suddenly detects a harmless text message and instantly screams danger. It violently hijacks your central nervous system. It forces your adrenal glands to violently pump pure cortisol directly into your bloodstream. You are quite literally experiencing a chemical attack from the inside. You genuinely think your body is pathetic for freezing like this. Wrong. Your physical body is actually executing a brilliant high-level energy optimization protocol. Your highly advanced brain is deliberately freezing your physical motor skills to forcibly prevent you from making a catastrophic social mistake. It is aggressively overclocking its internal processors to calculate every single possible variable before you hit send. The intense physical exhaustion you feel is real biological energy being burned by hyper-vigilant neurons. You are not a fundamentally defective human being. You are simply experiencing a massive neurological false alarm inside a highly evolved and overly sensitive survival machine. The biological system is just doing its job way too well. You genuinely think over-explaining your simple daily choices is just being incredibly polite. Wrong. It is a desperate primate survival appeasement strategy. You constantly soften your quick text messages. You instinctively use weak filler words like maybe or just to actively shrink your digital presence. You genuinely think this highly submissive behavior makes you incredibly likable to your professional peers. Incorrect. It actually makes you a massive psychological target for disrespect. You are not being considerate or highly empathetic at all. You are unconsciously broadcasting severe neurological weakness. Evolutionary psychology completely explains this brutal hidden truth. When ancient primates encounter a highly dominant threat in the wild, they physically make themselves much smaller to successfully avoid a fatal physical attack. Your modern biological brain is doing the exact same primitive survival routine with your daily vocabulary. You are deliberately crashing your own baseline serotonin levels. You are violently spiking your internal cortisol production to subconsciously beg for a completely fake sense of tribal safety. You are forcefully suppressing your ventral vagal complex to signal absolute submission to a dominant predator that is not even in the room. This constant verbal submission completely destroys your current position in the invisible social hierarchy. Stop this destructive behavior right now. You are actively sabotaging your own professional respect. You are freely handing away your personal autonomy to successfully avoid imaginary social conflicts that simply do not exist. The weak constantly over-explain. The strong simply act. You must aggressively reclaim your neurological boundaries today. Your excessive linguistic carefulness is rapidly becoming your ultimate daily social destruction. Acting quickly before your overactive brain can successfully activate its primitive risk barrier is exactly how highly intelligent people actually operate in reality. You are still listening to this. If your chest feels slightly lighter right now, that is absolutely not a random coincidence. You are not a broken machine. You are definitely not alone in this invisible war. Millions of highly intelligent people are fighting the exact same silent neurological struggle inside their heads every single day. Subscribe to the channel right now to continue liberating your exhausted brain. Now, let us brutally expose the real biological reason you feel so intensely drained. You genuinely think socializing makes you physically exhausted because you are just a fragile introvert. Incorrect. You are entirely exhausted because your brain is desperately running a highly demanding fake operating system. Clinical neuroscience calls this severe phenomenon psychological masking. You are completely terrified that your natural internal sensitivity is a fatal flaw. So you aggressively build a flawless and highly agreeable social avatar to safely interact with the world around you. You force a bright smile when you are deeply uncomfortable. You laugh loudly at awkward jokes you do not even understand. You meticulously script your most casual daily responses before you even step outside your front door. You constantly monitor your own facial microexpressions to ensure you appear perfectly normal to strangers. This is actually a brilliant evolutionary survival mechanism. Your mind is simply trying to shield you from brutal tribal rejection. But this heavy protective armor completely drains your daily neural energy. Your biological brain is working at maximum capacity just to constantly maintain a very complex and exhausting lie. You genuinely think you are successfully blending in with the modern crowd. Wrong. You are actually actively isolating yourself from the rest of humanity. You feel incredibly lonely in a packed room because nobody in that room is actually talking to the real you. They are only interacting with a highly curated psychological projection. The pleasant person they actually like does not even exist in reality. You are desperately starving for genuine human connection, but you are actively hiding your authentic identity behind a massive mental firewall. This brutal neurochemical paradox is systematically destroying your baseline mental health. Your prefrontal cortex is working massive overtime hours just to sustain a fictional character. You are not living a real life. You are just constantly performing a very exhausting daily stage play. This is going to sound incredibly clinical, but you desperately need to hear it right now. Wake up. Nobody is actually looking at you. Your intense social anxiety feels incredibly personal, but it is actually a purely mechanical glitch. You subconsciously believe your existence is constantly under a massive microscope. It is not. Everyone around you is simply the highly distracted main character in their own exhausting mental movie. They literally lack the available neural bandwidth to be the critical audience in yours. This painfully realistic illusion is completely manufactured by a specific brain region called the default mode network. This highly specialized neural circuit aggressively activates the exact second your physical body becomes momentarily idle. This primitive system absolutely hates absolute silence. When it lacks immediate external stimuli, it ruthlessly forces your conscious mind to simulate endless, catastrophic social scenarios. It deliberately tortures you with completely fake social rejection to keep you constantly vigilant. It makes you vividly imagine brutal professional judgment from distant colleagues that will never actually happen in reality. This is a severe evolutionary mismatch. In ancient primate tribes, being socially ignored meant absolute physical death, so your biological brain evolved to hyper-focus on any potential sign of social exclusion. Stop surrendering. Reject these terrifying phantom scripts right now. Your biological brain is an incredibly advanced simulation machine. But right now, it is aggressively feeding you pure toxic fiction. You are actively wasting massive amounts of precious cognitive energy, performing a heavy tragedy on a completely empty stage. The brutal scientific reality is actually highly liberating once you finally accept it. Your tiny conversational mistakes are entirely invisible to the rest of the modern world. They will permanently forget your slightly awkward email greeting in exactly 5 seconds. Stop punishing yourself. It is a microscopic social crime that literally nobody even noticed. Your highly evolved prefrontal cortex is desperately trying to solve a complex social puzzle that simply does not exist in reality. It is actively generating immense stress hormones over absolutely nothing. You must forcefully terminate this completely useless internal monologue today. You are not a fragile victim of their harsh external judgment. You are merely a chemical hostage of your own hyperactive neurological network. The constant, exhausting fear of being completely exposed as a pathetic fraud is nothing more than a powerful biological lie. Reject it completely. You are not a powerless victim. You are the supreme biological architect of your own neural pathways. You can actively rewrite your completely broken operating system right now. You just need to aggressively outsmart your evolutionary biology. Your prefrontal cortex is actually incredibly slow to react. It takes exactly 2 seconds to fully activate its catastrophic alarm system. It desperately needs that brief moment to invent a terrifying fake scenario. That tiny window of time is your ultimate psychological escape route. Here is the absolute clinical hack to defeat your mind. When you finish typing that simple text message, do not wait for the fear. The exact millisecond you finish writing, your internal countdown officially begins. 2, 1, send. Do not analyze the grammar. Do not read the sentence again. Do not carefully stare at the screen. Close it. Put the phone down. You are deliberately starving your anxiety of the specific time it urgently needs to grow. Speed is the absolute biological antidote to your severe overthinking. By forcing immediate physical action before the mental panic successfully sets in, you completely bypass the amygdala hijack. This is not a cheap psychological trick. This is applied neuroplasticity in real time. Every single time you firmly hit send, without hesitating, you are violently rewiring your physical brain structure. You are forcefully training your highly sensitive nervous system to associate rapid digital action with total physical safety. Stop desperately negotiating with your completely irrational fear. Type, count, send. You must ruthlessly reclaim your executive control today. Your endless chronic hesitation actively destroys your core confidence. Your immediate physical action completely frees your trapped mind. The 2-second decision loophole is your ultimate powerful mental weapon. Use it. You will definitely make minor social mistakes. You will occasionally type the wrong word. You will eventually send a slightly awkward email. And that is absolutely fine. Perfect communication simply does not exist. Speed is the ultimate biological cure for your crushing daily anxiety. The exact millisecond you forcefully press send without hesitating, the heavy phantom burden completely vanishes. Your biological mind instantly stops simulating those terrifying fake tragedies. You are not a fundamentally broken human being. You are simply a highly complex biological system navigating an incredibly chaotic modern world. It is time to deeply forgive yourself tonight. Forgive your severely overactive prefrontal cortex. It was honestly only trying to protect you from being socially excluded. But you no longer need that heavy primitive armor. You are entirely safe in your current physical reality. The prolonged silence from the screen is not a deadly weapon. It is literally just silence. Go to the comments right now and type this exact daily oath. I refuse to overthink. If this clinical breakdown just lifted a massive invisible weight off your chest, you must share this video immediately. A quiet introvert out there is desperately suffocating under their own anxious thoughts tonight, and they urgently need this exact biological antidote. You are finally back in absolute control of your own nervous system. You are entirely free. Step away from the glowing screen. Breathe in the actual physical world. Walk away, head held high.